Amazing billionaire hides as homeless bricklayer for 30 days, what he discovered will move you. James Hartley gazed out from his penthouse suite, the sun setting over the sprawling cityscape, painting the skyline in hues of gold and crimson. The luxury that surrounded him, a vast expanse of marble, an infinity pool that stretched to the horizon, and walls adorned with priceless art, felt like a gilded cage. Every corner whispered success, yet a gnawing emptiness clawed at his insides. How had he come to this? A high-flying billionaire, lost among sparkling chandeliers, yearning for a connection forgotten. His family's faces appeared in his mind, hard-working bricklayers, their weathered hands, their laughter echoing through the echoes of his childhood. The relentless pressure of a midlife crisis loomed like a storm cloud. In that tumultuous moment, an impulsive thought struck him: what if he shed his riches and started anew? What if he could rediscover who he truly was? With every fiber of his being, he knew he had to act. Donning the disguise of a homeless man, he traded his bespoke suits for tattered clothes and worn-out boots. Each dawn found him at the construction site, a cacophony of machinery and voices that were both foreign and familiar. The sun beat down on him without mercy, exposing his fragile demeanor. No more private jets, no more caviar. This was raw, brutal life. Amidst the sweat and dust, he immersed himself in the world he once fled from. Suddenly, emotions surged like tidal waves. It wasn't just about bricks and mortar, it was about the people. Among the hard workers was Maria, a remarkable single mother, fearless in the face of adversity. Each lunch break revealed snippets of her life, of dreams weighed down by reality. James felt inspired yet tortured. How had he once overlooked the rigors faced by individuals like her? His heart raced with conflicting emotions. The grit and resilience of this workforce ignited something within him, a flicker of hope amidst his dim existence. Yet fear crept in, whispering how the world judged harshly based on appearances, how he, disguised as a laborer, risked losing everything he had known if his facade was uncovered. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue, but the reality of the sight was unyielding. Whispers of disdain echoed around him, judgments cast aside based solely on his attire. Days stretched into weeks, each one testing his limits as exhaustion mingled with a yearning to belong. Just when he began to forge bonds built on respect and admiration, tragedy struck. False accusations emerged against Maria and her crew. They faced a corrupt contractor who threatened to dismantle everything they had built. Caught between revealing his true identity and risking their trust, anguish flooded his mind. What did it mean to keep his own hide intact while watching them suffer? Every silent heartbeat in that moment felt like a choice between self-preservation and integrity, with guilt tightening his throat. The sweat from the labor, the grit in his hands, and now betrayal loomed larger than ever. James stood at the crossroads, heart racing, torn between two lives, one filled with privilege and an ever-deepening void, and this new one, where loyalty meant everything. In the shadows of the city's pulse, uncertainty held him hostage, and his next move could change everything. Each night, as the city lights blinked to life, James was reminded of the stark contrast between his two worlds. The glow of his penthouse, once a beacon of aspiration, now felt alien and suffocating. He lay on a makeshift bed of old cardboard, every creak of the nearby construction rattling in his chest. The street's gritty aroma of asphalt and sweat mingling with his mixed emotions became a strange comfort. With every passing day, he realized that this life stripped away the illusions of wealth, revealing raw humanity. Determined to help Maria and her crew, James knew he had to act. The contractor's threats loomed like a noose, tightening as whispers of fabrication circled. For the first time in years, he felt a stirring of purpose. He spent sleepless nights planning how to confront the impending crisis, blending ideas of solidarity with fears of revelation as shadows danced in his mind. The fabrications against Maria felt personal, a skewed mirror of his own hidden truths. If he could emulate even a fraction of their resolve, maybe he could help. At the crack of dawn, he joined his co-workers for the day's toil. His heart raced as he approached Maria during a brief break. "I think there is something we can do," he said, his voice steady despite the tremors of uncertainty beneath it. She looked at him, her brow furrowed with skepticism but tinged with hope. "You think we can fight this?" "Yes," James replied, conviction rising within him. "We need to gather the others. We can present a united front." He envisioned a plan to rally the laborers, to expose the injustice, and defend their dignity. Seeds of camaraderie took root, and as he shared his ideas, his colleagues began to listen. He felt their trust growing, their eyes reflecting the same grit he had come to admire. That evening, huddled in the dim light of a diner, James watched as a group of laborers shared their stories, their laughter mingling with underlying anguish. It felt intoxicating. Here were people stripped of pretense yet brimming with potent valor. Their struggles became a tapestry of resilience, each thread stitched with perseverance. But beneath the camaraderie, a shadow flickered. What if this was his last chance to effect change? As he formulated plans, doubts began to seep in. The fear of his identity being outed gnawed at him. Would they reject him if they realized who he truly was? Would the truth unravel the fragile connection he had built? There was a palpable risk, yet the thrill of acting for something greater than himself ignited a fire he hadn't felt in years. Finally, after gathering the courage he had only recently discovered, James faced the moment he had dreaded. Confronting the corrupt contractor, the adrenaline coursed through his veins. They would demand justice for Maria and the crew. He would not stand idly by. The time had come to fight against the very system that had once kept him safe yet isolated. But as he declared their intention to stand together, an unexpected figure emerged from the shadows, a familiar antagonist, one who had cast doubt on Maria's integrity. The firm grip of reality gripped him, and he felt the weight of every choice he'd made. Just as his resolve peaked, this figure bore a revelation with the potential to shatter their defenses before they even began their fight. James stood at the precipice of self-discovery and moral duty, heart pounding, aware that the truth might expose not just Maria's plight but his own. Would he embrace the person he had become in these weeks, or flee back into the familiar comforts of his old life? James's heartbeat thundered in his ears as he faced the familiar figure emerging from the shadows. The contractor, Victor Lane, was more than just an antagonist. He was a man who wielded power with a charming smile but concealed venom in his words. The memories of their past dialogue echoed painfully, Victor manipulating with toxic ease. James steeled himself, fighting the pull of panic threatening to drown him. Today was not about him, it was about Maria and the others who didn't have the luxury of hiding behind wealth. "You look a little lost, James," Victor said, his smug tone dripping with condescension. "What brings a man of your status to confront a mere contractor? Surely you have more pressing matters." James swallowed hard, biting back the anger that surged within him. "What you're doing to Maria's team is an injustice, Victor. The accusations you're spreading are lies." His voice was firmer than he felt, grounded by the weight of emerging convictions. Victor chuckled, leaning closer, his eyes glinting with amusement. "And what makes you believe they would choose you over me? You're a dropout in the eyes of those laborers now. You think they respect you?" Each word jabbed like a knife. A part of James wanted to retreat, to fall back into the safety of his penthouse where he could pretend he was untouchable. But as he looked around, seeing the uncertainty and fear in the eyes of his comrades, he felt something shift. The quiet strength of the crew he had bonded with and their shared fury pushed his doubts aside. "They deserve better than your threats," he said, expecting the derision that rushed from Victor. "They'll stand with me." With that declaration, a ripple of murmurs ignited in the gathering crowd behind him. It awakened an unfamiliar sense of heightening power within himself, one that contradicted his wealthy past and shone brighter than any superficial accolade. Perhaps, just perhaps, he could start a real fight. Victor's expression darkened. "You think you can fight me? Your little plan won't hold. You have no clue what you're up against." His voice dropped, the threat palpable. I know your secrets, James. One word, and it could all come crashing down. A hush fell over the crowd, thick with anticipation. James felt the familiar tingle of dread crawl up his spine. Victor's threat hung in the air like a guillotine, ready to fall. Would they turn away from him, now that suspicion had taken root? Or would they stand? No, he said, a newfound resolve igniting his voice. If you expose me, you'll only breathe life into the truth. Just like you can't silence these workers' grit, you won't silence mine. As adrenaline flooded him, he could see Maria standing at the edge of the group, eyes alight with a mixture of fear and admiration. Taking a small step forward, he beckoned to her. The two locked gazes, a silent understanding passing between them, a promise to protect each other. Victor's lips curled into a thin smile, yet the menace in his eyes spoke volumes. This isn't over, James. You have no idea what a real fight entails. James straightened, the weight of the future pressing on his shoulders. Whatever truth Victor wielded, he wouldn't back down. The time had come to explore the depths of his newfound identity and confront the very foundations of his past. As Victor stalked away, the crowd's murmurs transformed into whispers of solidarity, their collective determination fueling James's growing ambition. He realized he had only stepped across the threshold of his own evolution, one where comfort and wealth no longer reigned supreme, but as the adrenaline began to wane, doubt reared its head once more. What other secrets lurked in the dark corners of his old life that could derail everything he was building now? The throne of comfort he had once inhabited was crumbling, revealing chimera after chimera. Taking a deep breath, he cast a glance at Maria, whose expression mirrored his uncertainty. Would he uncover the true depths of his hidden capacities before it was too late? Or would the ghosts of the past drag him back into the shadows he was attempting to escape? James stood still, the weight of the moment pressing heavily on his chest as the crowd slowly began to disperse, murmuring amongst themselves. Their eyes were still on him, seeking reassurance, solidarity. He was aware that he had ignited something within them, a flicker of hope that he could no longer afford to extinguish. But as the echoes of Victor's words played in his mind, uncertainty gripped him tighter than before. As he stepped away from the gathering, he could feel the need for clarity clawing at him. Fueled by determination, he sought a quiet space, a moment to breathe away from the cacophony of anxiety that had enveloped him. The unfinished construction site was now bathed in the warm glow of sunset, painting everything in hues of orange and gold that belied the turmoil inside him. He leaned against a half-constructed wall, shutting his eyes against the fading light as he allowed himself to think. What did he know about the real world, the laborious lives of the workers he stood among? His past life had granted him luxuries that crafted a barrier between him and their struggles. Suddenly, his solitude felt heavy with guilt. He needed to understand the very fabric of their lives to fight alongside them, not out of sympathy, but out of real, abiding respect. A voice broke through his thoughts, grounding him. Maria approached cautiously, her expression a complex blend of admiration and concern. The way she moved, with purpose yet gentle caution, stirred something within him. He could almost hear her thoughts echoing those of the workers. Could he truly stand with them, or was he merely a man playing at being one of the masses? James, she began, her voice steady yet warm, what Victor said, it doesn't have to define you. You can use it to fuel your fight. Her belief in him sparked something profound. But why should they trust me? He questioned, the words tumbling out of his mouth before he could stop them. I've lived a different life, Maria. How can I claim to understand their struggles? Maria stepped closer, unwavering. Because you stood up today. You faced him. That takes courage. They need that kind of leadership. Not the wealth, but the heart to fight. Her words struck a chord. Perhaps she was right, it wasn't wealth or status that defined him, it was the willingness to confront his own inadequacies and the societal structures that belittled those around him. This realization inhaled a rush of clarity into his confused mind. James realized he needed to do more than just voice a disagreement. Action was the currency in this new world he was grappling with. But what could he do that genuinely resonated with the workers' realities? A plan began to form, one that required him to fully immerse himself in their lives. What if he could spend time with them, assist throughout the day, learn from their experiences? Not as a wealthy outsider but as one of them, an idea that terrified and excited him in equal measure. Why not join them? Maria replied, almost reading his thoughts, her enthusiasm palpable. You can listen, learn, and actually help. Experience their hardships firsthand. It could change everything. Her confidence emboldened him. But what if Victor finds out? He breathed, tentatively. Then we'll face that together. One step at a time, James. She was right. The shadows of his past didn't stand a chance against this rising awareness that burgeoned within him. With a nod, he felt an unfamiliar energy coursing through his veins. Reflecting on who he was meant to become granted him clarity. This was his chance to both challenge himself and contribute meaningfully to those he aimed to support. I'll do it, he affirmed, his voice steady, I'll become one of them. As night fell, shadows curiously danced around them, uncertainties coiling with potential. But the flickering flame of resolve within him could not be doused. He was ready to confront the reality of his present and confront the ghosts of his past once and for all, but as he walked away from the sight, the underlying question loomed large: could immersing himself in a life so far removed from his own truly prepare him for the battle ahead against Victor's looming threat? James awoke before dawn, the cold creeping in through the thin walls of the makeshift shelter he had crafted for himself in a corner of the construction site. He had spent the night tossing and turning, his mind racing with the implications of his decision. The sounds of the waking city filtered through the cracks, a constant reminder of the world outside that he was now part of but entirely apart from. As he uncoiled himself from the blanket, a sense of urgency surged within him. Today marked the beginning, the first step toward understanding the lives so intimately intertwined with his own. There was no time to waste, he needed to prove to them and himself that he was serious about this. After a quick moment of reflection, he splashed cold water on his face and gathered himself. He would meet the workers and introduce himself informally, laying the foundations of trust before jumping in with both feet. The air was crisp as he stepped outside, the sun barely peeking over the horizon. He adjusted to the chill, feeling the freshness invigorate his resolve. Reaching the site, he spotted a few early risers, their silhouettes stark against the dim lighting of the morning. "Hey there," he called out, forcing a casual tone. The workers, surprised, turned to face him. Their faces were a tapestry of fatigue and resilience, and in that moment, he felt their apprehension directed at him, as if they could sense the distance he had yet to traverse. One of them approached, an older man with lined features and a piercing gaze. "You're out here early, aren't you?" "I am," James replied, feeling a mix of embarrassment and determination. "I want to help. I want to learn what it's really like out here." The man studied him for a moment, skepticism hanging in the air. "You realize it's hard work, right? It's not just playing at it." "I know. I want to earn my place here. I want to understand." After a long pause, the man's expression softened. "All right then. Let us see if you can keep up." He gestured for James to follow, leading him to where the others were strangely gathered, sharing a few quiet jokes as they prepared their tools. As the day wore on, James found himself grappling with more than just physical labor. He was dismantling the walls he had built around his privilege. He learned to tighten screws, wield a hammer, and mix cement efficiently. Each task bore down on him, demanding more than he thought he could give. It was a far cry from the polished environments he was used to, but with every challenge, James discovered something within himself that had lain dormant. Each drop of sweat and sore muscle reminded him of why he was there. He was taking inch-high steps toward a deeper understanding of strength, patience, and resilience. During a break, he sat among the workers, his body aching and spirit soaring. They shared stories, lifetimes condensed into laughter and sorrow with each word spoken. As they reminisced, a warm laughter rose that transformed the air around him, enveloping James in a sense of belonging he never knew he craved. Yet, as the sun dipped below the horizon, a shadow loomed over his heart. Doubts began to burgeon anew, Victor's threat still hung in the balance, a specter waiting to disrupt all he was building. Was he truly strong enough to protect those whose trust he sought to gain? A worker's laughter cut through his reverie, jolting him back. This was only the beginning of his transformation, and decisions loomed ahead. Could he sustain this new understanding while finding a way to confront Victor effectively? With a new determination blooming within him, James decided it was time to confront the impending challenges, a reckoning not just with Victor, but also with the new self he was becoming. As the night closed in, a single thought echoed in his mind: what sacrifices would he have to make to shield the workers and uphold the new identity he was fighting to forge? The next morning greeted James with an obscured sky, gray clouds hovering like a weight over the city. He dressed quickly, his thoughts a chaotic blend swirling around the promise of the previous day. Each ache in his body from the labor felt like a badge of honor, a visceral reminder of the path he had taken. Yet, the specter of Victor loomed larger. He arrived at the site and immediately noticed a change in dynamic. The workers greeted him with subtle nods, their uncertainty melting into a cautious camaraderie. James felt heartened. It created a space where he could explore deeper relationships rather than remaining an outsider merely playing at labor. Today, they were tasked with preparing the ground for a new foundation. As they cleared debris and leveled the earth, James focused on finding his rhythm. He observed the seasoned workers, their hands deftly moving as they shared tips and techniques. He emulated them, intuitively grasping that his authenticity lay in his ability to connect. "Hey, James," called one of the younger workers, a spirited man named Carlos. "You want to try this with us?" He gestured toward a heavy jackhammer, his face alive with enthusiasm. James hesitated, a familiar voice of doubt creeping in. "That looks heavy." Carlos laughed. "That's the spirit. One way to learn is to feel it." Taking a deep breath, James stepped forward, flashing a determined smile. Picking up the jackhammer, he fumbled his grip. As the machine roared to life beneath him, the vibrations coursed through his body, sending pangs of exhilaration coursing through his veins. The noise was deafening, amplifying his trepidation and determination alike. He let loose a laugh of triumph as dust swirled, swallowing his anxiety whole. After a few moments, he set the tool down, panting but glowing with satisfaction. The laughter from his peers pierced through the haze of intensity, reinforcing a connection he had desperately sought. They respected his effort. Each confident clap on his back felt like a tether pulling him deeper into their world. Still, as his euphoria waned, the reality of the encounter with Victor simmered in the back of his mind. What if Victor disrupted everything? The burgeoning trust he formed with the workers was fragile, and he feared the fallout if his true identity were unveiled. A knot twisted in his stomach. As the day progressed, the workers began sharing stories of their own struggles. They spoke of losses, dreams deferred, and the resilience born from hardship. Amidst the grueling tasks, it became clear that their stories were woven from the same fabric of determination and grit. James felt a surge of empathy ripple through him. Here were people who fought daily against the odds, only to emerge stronger. They shared something far more valuable than just labor. It was community and support against an often indifferent world. But then, a thought struck like a lightning bolt. Maybe Victor wasn't the only adversary threatening this world. James realized he had to confront not just Victor, but also the obstacles within himself, the hesitation to fully embrace this newfound identity nonetheless molded by privilege. He barely noticed that the sun was starting to set, casting long shadows as he sat between Carlos and an older worker named Henry. They exchanged quiet smiles, an unspoken understanding between them. Henry looked at James, eyes piercing with knowledge. "Sometimes it's not just about strength on the outside but what you carry inside. The two must align." A fire ignited in James. He needed to act not just for himself, but for them all. The impending storm with Victor couldn't be avoided, but perhaps there was a way to fortify his new relationships even before any confrontation. "I want to do more," James declared suddenly, his voice steady. "How can I help you all more?" "Whatever it takes." The air transformed. Questions hung in the moment, a palpable tension that left him wondering if he was prepared for the answer. but what he didn't know was that the push towards self-discovery would come with unforeseen sacrifices choices. That would set him on a collision course not just with Victor, but with the very identity he was carving out for himself. There was little time left to decide, and as the last rays of sunlight flickered to black, James felt a decision rise inside him. Tomorrow would demand more than labor. It would require a reckoning. What would he choose when courage faced him in the form of those who needed him most? The next morning, James awoke with a sense of purpose simmering within him. The specter of Victor loomed large, but the feeling of camaraderie he had forged with Carlos, Henry, and the other workers provided a buffer against the turmoil brewing inside. Today would be different, he resolved. Instead of simply laboring alongside his peers, he would embrace his emerging role as a leader among them. After a rushed breakfast, he arrived at the site early, eager to set a tone for the day. The air felt electric as the workers filtered in, sharing casual greetings that slowly transitioned into animated discussions about the tasks ahead. James noticed the sense of community tightening like a rope woven from shared goals. It sparked in him an urgency to deepen his connection. As the crew gathered for the morning briefing, he took a step forward, uncharacteristically bold. "I want to help us all work more efficiently," he announced. "What if we created a plan for the day? Each of us can play to our strengths." The words spilled from him, charged with a new confidence he didn't know he possessed. Carlos raised an eyebrow, searching for sincerity in his enthusiastic gaze. "Are you sure you're ready for that, James?" His heart raced, but he nodded. "Absolutely. I want to contribute beyond just labor. Let me take it on." Laughter emerged from the crowd, a mix of skepticism and intrigue. Yet, amidst the chuckles, he sensed their willingness to listen. He turned to Henry, looking for the elder worker's approval. Henry smiled. It was a small acknowledgement, yet it fueled James. Throughout the morning, James meticulously coordinated the workers' efforts. He observed the interactions between them, capturing their strengths and weaknesses, and adjusted tasks accordingly. "Carlos, you're great with the jackhammer. Take charge of that section. And Henry, your experience guiding the others has value. Can you mentor a few of the newcomers?" He watched as the men nodded, surprised but ready to engage. As they moved through the day, adrenaline coursed through him. He felt his confidence swell with each positive exchange. For every clumsy moment, for every misfired suggestion, there came laughter and support. They were igniting something in one another that stretched beyond simple labor. It was trust, woven into the fabric of their collective effort. As the sun climbed higher, James sensed a shift beyond just the day's work. The rhythm of the site transformed into something akin to ceremony. But his burgeoning confidence was clouded by the awareness that Victor's confrontation wasn't far off. Each laugh or nod exchanged between workers felt fragile, perched like a bird ready to take flight but potentially doomed to crash should the truth come crashing down. At lunch, James gathered everyone around him, perched on the edge of a rusted trailer, keenly aware of the watchful eyes glued to him. "We're making great progress, but I want to ensure we're also supporting each other." He scanned their faces. "Have any of you faced tough situations outside of work that we could help one another with?" Silence hung in the air, musing intertwined with hesitation. It was a moment of vulnerability. Slowly, one by one, they began to share stories of parents struggling to support them, children who may not have enough, dreams obstructed by reality. The honesty that flowed over the lunch break felt raw but empowering. James realized how much these revelations mirrored his own fears, his own desires buried beneath the surface. In that shared exposure, hidden barriers began to crumble. Yet, beneath the warm exchange lay an undeniable thrum of tension that reminded him of Victor. The threat of exposure weighed heavily. Just as he felt a sense of accomplishment settle, a text pinged on his phone, jolting him back to his fiery reality. Glancing quickly, his stomach dropped. It was Victor, demanding a meeting now. The urgency pressed down on him, and the shadows from yesterday had returned with a vengeance. Would his efforts for connection last, or would the impending confrontation shatter it all to pieces? With a deep breath, he gathered the workers around him once more. Today was just a step. Together, we can face whatever comes next. Uncertainty and hope entwined, but the feeling of resolve surged deep within him. Little did he realize that the true test of his character was yet to unfold. Tomorrow, James would confront Victor and himself on a level he never imagined. Would he ultimately choose to defend the community he was beginning to value, or would he retreat into the shadows of his past? As the sun dipped below the skyline, casting long shadows across the construction site, James felt the weight of impending conflict pressing upon him. He had retreated to a corner away from the chatter, anxiety swirling just beneath the surface, merging with the warmth of camaraderie he had begun to build. Deep breaths failed to calm the storm within. He needed to face Victor head-on, but what would that entail? Descending the trailer steps, James moved toward the parking lot, where Victor's familiar car idled. The air crackled with anticipation, and he could hear the distant laughter of the men behind him. Each laugh intensified his internal discord, a reinforcing bond with them juxtaposed against the looming battle he faced. Upon arriving at Victor, a composed perfection clad in tailored attire, James felt a jolt of apprehension. The glimmer of entitlement in Victor's eyes was unmistakable. "You've been busy," he remarked, his tone laced with smug nonchalance. "I see you're getting quite comfortable here." James tightened his grip on his phone, the lifeline of communication connecting him to the support he had just nurtured. "I think we've made progress as a team," he replied, forcing the words to come out steady. "We're working better together." Victor's smile turned sharp, reminiscent of a wolf's watching over a flock. Togetherness doesn't define success. What defines success is results. And right now, I need to ensure someone's pulling their weight. James felt a surge of indignation but tempered it with the resolve he was slowly cultivating. He wouldn't let Victor's barbs undermine that progress. "I'm here to make sure everyone is doing their part, including me. If we're going to succeed, it'll be because we all contribute, not just because one person waves a stick around." Victor leaned closer, the air between them thickening with tension. "Careful, James. You might not like where this is going. A leader knows how to delegate and not play favorites. I'm not convinced you have it in you to really lead this crew," he taunted, the challenge evident in his demeanor. James felt his composure crack. Anger was boiling just beneath the surface, conflicting with the newfound authority he struggled to maintain. He thought of the stories shared at lunch, the fears, the vulnerability, the trust. Those moments steered him back to clarity. "It's not about playing favorites, Victor. It's about recognizing potential. I don't intend to lead through fear or manipulation. I want to empower." For the first time, Victor's facade flickered, disbelief etched across his features. The tension teetered on the edge of acknowledgement and scorn. "Empower?" he repeated, as if the word was foreign. "This is a business, not a charity. Don't forget your place." James inhaled sharply, realizing the stakes were far greater than he had previously acknowledged. This was more than a confrontation, it was the crossroads of his personal evolution. Either he could uphold his growing resolve or shrink back into the shadows Victor so effortlessly occupied. "I'm not afraid to redefine my place, Victor," James said, each word crisp and resolute. "If fostering an environment where we all thrive means stepping outside of the mold you've set, then I'm ready." Victor straightened, a mixture of surprise and resentment shadowing his face. "Then be prepared for the consequences of that choice," he warned, each syllable heavy with underlying threat. As Victor turned to leave, James felt a rush of exhilaration combined with dread. His heart raced not from fear, but from the courage growing within him. Challenging authority was the first definitive act of leadership he had embraced, an opportunity to forge his path, a path he hoped would inspire others. Yet as he returned to the crew, their laughter softer now, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. The test ahead would not only revolve around Victor's reaction but also explore whether he could truly uphold the standards he had set for himself and the community he'd begun to cherish. In that moment of connection, he knew he had crossed an invisible line. Tonight, he would have to hold fast to the trust he had begun to cultivate. But the question lingered: could he truly command respect without replicating Victor's oppressive style? His mind spun with possibilities and fears, each decision rippling through him, resonating within the bonds he had formed. Tomorrow would be more than a test of leadership, it would be a measure of resolve. As he joined the group, a sudden quiet hung between them, weighing heavy in anticipation. Would he be able to maintain the fragile trust he had built, or would Victor's influence shatter everything he had worked for? The morning sun rose with a promise of clarity, bathing the construction site in warm light. James arrived early, his mind replaying the confrontation from the previous evening. Each step toward the site echoed with the weight of his decisions, the resolve still fresh yet fragile. As the crew began to trickle in, James observed their interactions, each exchange filled with an unspoken sense of unity developed over shared struggles. They were working toward a collective goal, and for the first time, James felt like he belonged. This was a group that relied on one another, he could feel the currents of trust flowing among them. Yet, amidst that trust, Victor's shadow loomed, reminding him of the precariousness of their progress. "Hey, James!" One of the crew members called out, breaking his trance. It was Mark, the site foreman, who had been particularly supportive after James voiced his leadership aspirations. "Ready to tackle today?" His enthusiasm was infectious, stirring a sense of optimism in James, a renewed energy he desperately needed. "Always," James replied, forcing a smile that didn't fully reach his eyes. He glanced around cautiously, searching for any sign of Victor. His absence felt both reassuring and ominous. What would the day bring without the ever-watchful glare of Victor's scrutiny? The morning unfolded with a rhythm that felt almost normal. They started with morning safety briefings, where James took the initiative to encourage everyone to voice any concerns. It didn't take long for the men to open up, cracking jokes and sharing ideas for better efficiency. The sound of laughter began to settle the tension gnawing at him, but as lunch approached, James's confidence was abruptly interrupted. Victor appeared, strolling onto the site with the air of someone arriving at a royal banquet. The crew fell silent, eyes darting between Victor and James, tension thickening in the midday heat. Victor's presence felt suffocating, a reminder of the psychological games he so expertly played. "Just checking in on the progress," Victor announced, his eyes scanning the area like a hawk searching for weakness. Though his voice remained calm, each word dripped with condescension. James squared his shoulders, refusing to let Victor's demeanor deter him. "We're making great strides, Victor. I just reviewed some strategies with the team to improve our workflow." The corners of Victor's mouth curled into a thin, mocking smile. "Interesting. You're bold, James. Just remember, results speak louder than conversations." James felt an internal tumult stir, a pulse of defiance mixed with concern. He was standing at the brink of something vital, the choice to actively embody the leader he aspired to be. It wasn't just about asserting himself against Victor, but demonstrating this leadership through actionable results. As Victor continued to undermine his efforts in front of the crew, something inside James shifted. He began to see not just Victor as an obstacle, but also as a mirror reflecting the type of leader he did not want to become. It crystallized in him the reality that true leadership was not merely winning battles or garnering dominance, it was about fostering an environment where everyone could succeed. "Actually, I believe we're capable of more than just results, Victor," James interjected, aiming to redirect the energy of the conversation. "It's about building our skills together. That's what strengthens our team." Victor's eyes narrowed, an unfamiliar flicker of uncertainty crossing his features. "What exactly do you mean?" James took a steadying breath. "I want to implement something new, peer coaching. Everyone has unique skills. By learning from each other, we'll all contribute at a higher level." The crew shifted, glancing at each other, intrigued by the idea. Though Victor's expression remained skeptical, the door was ajar. James realized this was not merely a battle with Victor, it was an opportunity for him to solidify his place as a leader. This idea could either elevate their collective potential or set up a confrontation he would need to face decisively. As lunch wrapped up, the energy among the men buzzed with renewed enthusiasm. James felt a rush of adrenaline, invigorated not just by his resolve, but by the potential of what they could accomplish together. Yet, as he watched Victor walk away, a sense of dread washed over him. Would Victor let this idea slide, or would he retaliate? The stakes were undeniable. Failure could jeopardize all this teamwork and camaraderie that now felt both exhilarating and fragile. That evening, as James lay in bed, anticipation hung heavy in the air. His newly forged leadership path was starting to take shape, but a dark cloud loomed on the horizon. The real test of his character was shaping up, and he couldn't help but wonder what Victor's next move would be. The night settled in around him with unyielding silence, a reminder that the journey ahead was fraught with peril. James took a deep breath, fully aware that tomorrow would bring the reckoning between his vision and Victor's relentless pursuit of control. But would he be able to rally the team to his side, or would he be subverted? As dawn broke over the construction site, James stood taller than he'd ever imagined. The sun's light spilled across the ground, illuminating the path he had chosen, a path rooted in honor, growth, and newfound respect. Today, James would confront Victor, but more importantly, he would step firmly into his role as a leader. Confidence radiated from him. The transformations over the past weeks had been profound. James had shed layers of pretense and bravado, opting instead for raw authenticity. The laborers, once skeptical, now regarded him with a sense of camaraderie that made his heart swell with pride. He remembered the moment they rallied around him, sharing their struggles and desires, a pivotal point of connection that bore testament to his journey. As he made his way toward the site, he could feel the energy buzzing around him. Carlos jogged over first, a smile plastered on his face. "You ready for today, Chief?" James returned the grin, the term of endearment resonant with new meaning. "I am indeed. Let us show what we can really do." They gathered the workers, and the energy buzzed with anticipation. James outlined the peer coaching initiative, encouraging each man to share his unique skills. The simplest tasks morphed into invaluable lessons as seasoned hands taught the novices the tricks of the trade. It was electrifying. Community was budding, growing roots in shared knowledge and methodical support. The climate shifted, moving away from isolation toward a symphony of cooperation. Just as they began to grasp this fresh momentum, Victor's shadow fell over the site, stone-faced and authoritative. The tension in the air crackled as workers straightened, not from fear but from defiance. James felt the pounding of his heart synchronize with the pulse of the crew, a collective heartbeat. "Interesting changes you're implementing here," Victor remarked, his voice low and menacing. "Don't forget, results matter above everything." James squared his shoulders and met Victor's gaze, steady and unflinching. "We're achieving results by working together, Victor. Individualism has kept us down for too long." The words came through clear, a declaration of independence wrapped in his voice of newfound strength. The surrounding workers exchanged glances, the solidarity thickening between them. For the first time, James felt the weight of the group, their hopes interwoven with his own. "I won't back down. Leading through empowerment takes courage, and I'm ready to face whatever you throw at us." Victor's mask slipped, revealing thinly veiled disbelief. "This will come back to bite you, James. Watch your back." But his words fell flat against the invigorated dynamic that coursed through the crew. As Victor turned to leave, James felt light as air, buoyed by the trust that had forged between him and the workers. They whispered encouragements, bonding over the audacity of their combined courage and resolve. Days turned to weeks, and each sunrise unfurled a new layer of James's emerging identity. He wasn't merely a lost billionaire anymore, he had become a warrior for respect, resilience, and community building. His initiatives blossomed, more than just ideas, they were engines of change, shaping not only the construction site but each worker's life. Eventually, through adaptive leadership and authentic connection, James was invited to share his insights at a city council meeting, a recognition of his impact on labor dynamics. The thrill of applause consumed him as he stood before an audience that once felt out of reach. Despite his initial anxieties, he had drawn strength from his experiences with the crew. "Thank you for letting me share today. My journey transformed me, yet I stand here realizing that true success lies in community, in lifting each other up to create more than just structures, creating lives with purpose, he proclaimed, each word infused with the passion that sparked within him. As the applause echoed around him, he felt a sense of closure that encompassed far more than a mere achievement. This was the culmination of his personal evolution. He had learned to lead with courage, foster growth amidst adversity, and build relationships based on integrity and mutual respect. James Hartley had conquered himself, solidified his place among the crew, and emerged not just a billionaire but a genuine champion of those who labored tirelessly through hardship. This journey proved more illuminating than the highest skyscraper, anchoring in him a belief that permeated his core: true worth is never dictated by wealth but by how one empowers others to achieve their dreams. Now, it's time for your own transformation. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, it truly makes a difference. Comment your reactions and theories about this powerful conclusion. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this journey of overcoming adversity. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second to share.